It's for Christianity.
Έλα μαζί
μου, come with me.
Ένα ταξίδι
A trip
που θα σε βγάλει από τον
that
καημό.
takes you out of sadness.
Είμαι κι εγώ
I am with you,
σαν και σένα,
like you.
μια ελπίδα να ζητώ. Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις, δεν θα είσαι πια μόνος σου. Θα τελειώσει ο πόνος σου. Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις, δεν θα είναι πια δύσκολα. Η νύχτα θα σπάσει ξανά. Θα συγχωρέσεις, η αγάπη θα αλλάξει, η δυστυχία θα πάψει. Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις.
Your prayer,
η προσευχή σου, αν πιστείς αλήθεια,
if you really believe.
η εκκλησία
The church
θα σε γιατρέψει,
will heal you.
Και θα σ' ανοίξει τα φτερά.
Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις,
δεν θα είσαι πια μόνος σου. Θα τελειώσει ο πόνος σου. Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις, δεν θα είναι πια δύσκολα. Η σπίθα θα ανάψει ξανά. Θα συγχωρέσεις, η αγάπη θα λάμψει, το σκοτάδι θα σπάσει. Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις. Ο Χριστός είναι κοντά, θα σε δώσει να δεν θα είσαι πια μόνος σου. Θα τελειώσει ο πόνος σου. Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις, δεν θα είναι πια δύσκολα. Η νύχτα θα σπάσει ξανά. Θα συγχωρέσεις, η αγάπη θα λάμψει, η δυστυχία θα πάψει. Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις.
Hello people, this is Socrates Son. Today I will respond to the West is right to be suspicious of Islam, Arwa Elrayess. This scientist, let's see.
There is anger in this room tonight.
Really?
There is anger in homes and on streets and throughout communities that no longer feel safe and no longer feel like they matter. Anger from people who feel that no government in any party in a generation has told them the truth about why their lives are the way that they are, why their rent is unpayable, why they cannot get a GP appointment, why the country they knew is not the country their children are inheriting.
Oh, really? So look, the first argument, guys, is that it's not Islam, it's you to blame. That is the first argument. Brilliant. It's not Islam that wants to dominate other cultures, that does terrorism, that attacks Israel, that attacks on 7th of October, that in Nigeria they genocide the Christians, all these stabbings in the UK, all these regressive, barbaric laws in Islam that they try to import to the Western world, the Muslim Brotherhood, the list of terrorist groups that want to dominate to the West and replace the Western world order with the Islamic world order. All this, okay, it's not all this stuff that brings the problem. It's none. It's just you being a bigot. You have a character deficiency. You are just dumb, and you just have a bad life in the West, the government, you don't have money, and you blame all your troubles to the scapegoat of Islam. But I, the 20-year-old, know better what's your problem. And now I will educate you. Yes, good luck with that.
I'm not going to stand here tonight and tell you your anger is wrong. I'm not going to dismiss you as a racist for asking honest questions about a country that has stopped working.
Look, I won't going to accuse you of being racist, and people expect to say against Islam. No, against your country. I'm not. Look what she said. She said, "I'm not going to stop you of complaining," and people, think, she will say Islam. No, against the West. Okay, please continue.
For you. And that is why I wanted this debate to be held, because we have seen what happens when people's anger goes unaddressed. It does not disappear. It looks for somewhere to go. And there are people in this country, people on that side of the argument, who have made it their business to be standing there when that anger arrives, ready to point it in a direction that serves them and, believe me, hurts you. The proposition does not have a monopoly on that anger. Mr. Robinson and Mr. Fox have built careers directing that anger at easier targets.
Are you seriously going to argue that there is no problem in Islam as it manifests to this world as we speak, and it's all our character deficiencies? Are you seriously going to make this argument? Should I now list what Islam does to the world as we speak? Okay, Islam, my young lady, is the #1 social problem of the planet as we speak. Nothing comes near. Everything that is going wrong on this planet, Islam is in the middle. Okay, as we speak, the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and the gas is going up, and we feel poor. Why? Yeah, because it's a war Islam inflicted to this world. Okay, your Islamist terrorist compatriots attacked Israel, and then the other Islamists in Iran, attack the USA and Israel. They're making armies. Okay, so your first argument is utter insult. First of all, it's not just nonsense. You insult our intelligence, and you insult us. Okay, when you blame the victim, and you give a free pass to Islam.
Scapegoating Islam and Muslim communities, not because we are the cause of your suffering.
Yes, you are. Simple as that. If Islam, not you personally, first of all, why you are doing this dishonest thing? You are a Western-minded lady without a hijab representing a Western university. Why you say you? It's not about you. It's about the Islamists. So why you try to misrepresent the Islamists like it's you? Why you are doing that? That is totally dishonest.
Not because we are a direction of your suspicion, but because when you are profiting from a hollowed out country, it is safer to scapegoat a minority, to set its citizens against one another.
Okay, and why is your minority always in the center? It's not the Hindus? Why not any other minority? Okay, why in the whole planet, everywhere? In Canada is your minority. In Britain is your minority. In France is your minority. In Israel is your minority. In Nigeria is your minority. In Africa, all the places there is your minority. Even in the Middle East is your minority. Your minority is killing the Druze. Everywhere. So why it just happens your minority to be the problem in all places of the world? And it's not Japanese, it's not the Greeks, it's not the Jews, it's not the Hindus. Why is always you? Have you ever wondered this question?
than it ever would be to finally let them ask who hollowed their country out in the first place. But first,
let me tell you who hollowed the country. Because of Islamists, the UK went out because of you, not of you. Obviously, as I said before, you're a Western-minded girl. Because of Islamists, UK left the European Union. Unless you think there was another reason why they left. Okay, so the UK is going backwards as we speak because of the effect of Islam in this country.
Let me do what I believe side proposition has missed the mark on when this discussion is being held. Let me reiterate what this motion is and what it is not. The motion is not, the West is right to be suspicious of Salman Abedi, the Manchester Arena bomber. The motion is not, the West is right to be suspicious of jihadist ideologies, of Al-Qaeda, of ISIS, of the examples that you've presented.
Is the claim that Al-Qaeda and ISIS and the terrorists have nothing to do with Islam? Okay, you are absolutely wrong. These people are just people. They are not bad people that give bad name to Islam. They are normal people that an evil ideology made them do this heinous act. Islam is to blame for ISIS. Islam is to blame for Al-Qaeda. It's not Al-Qaeda and ISIS that give bad name to Islam. You took it the other way around. And it's very easily demonstrable. Okay, so we have examples, my young lady, of perfectly fine young people with all the future in front of them, converting to Islam and then becoming terrorists. We even have guys. I saw a crime documentary that is not popular this case. I was just watching crime documentaries, and at some point I saw a documentary of a young American kid that he went with a knife and started killing his friends. And the police officer took him in an interrogation room, and they started asking, what the hell happened with you? A 14-year-old kid. And he started saying, Allah commands that all the disbelievers should be identified for... Okay. And he was brainwashed by the Quran. Even an American kid, normal kid. So there is no evidence that the terrorists give a bad name to Islam. In fact, all the evidence is that Islam gives a bad name. That's okay. Okay, so we have abundant evidence that is not the people who give bad name to Islam. Islam makes the terrorists. Okay.
I, as a Muslim, and I am certain and I can assure you, as many, the vast majority of Muslims are equally as suspicious of those people, of those organizations, as anyone in this room. Come on, let me get to my introduction.
That is, again, bullshit. Although there are many good Muslims, but westernized humanitarian liberal Muslims like you, my young lady. There was a poll in the UK and they asked how many of you support bin Laden, and the percentage was very huge. In fact, I can give you the exact number. It was like 40%. Okay, so not even that is true. So let's continue. Let's see if you will say one word which is true.
Let me get to the motion. The motion is the suspicion of Islam itself, not some caricature that has been painted by Laurence or by Tommy, or from selected verses in the scripture without context, without understanding, without reference to any of the verses that preceded it or came after it. It is not selective understanding by people who do not believe in Islam. The people who behead, the people who wage wars, the people who attack, and the people who stone and behead, these are not followers of Islam. The motion is about...
My young lady, you are a 20-year-old lady before 6 years you couldn't even speak, and you are talking about Tommy Robinson and the other guys there, and you think you will educate them about Islam? I mean, are you fucking serious? Okay, let's see how you will educate us about Islam. Let's see now.
Islam.
Yes, because you say so.
The motion is about the body of the teaching, the 1,400-year tradition of the faith carried by 1.9 billion people, almost all of whom could not have been further removed in their faith, in my faith, from the abhorrent crimes committed supposedly in their name. And this is the important bit that I think you all miss.
Okay, yes, we all miss that. We are all, yes, we are that dumb, and you came to educate us. So terrorism, nothing to do with Islam. All these regressive attitudes that we see from Islamists, nothing to do with Islam. And yet, for everything, they say we do it because of Islam, and we can bring the verses that describe exactly what they are doing, command exactly what they are doing. Even if that was not true Islam, still Islam is to blame about this. Okay? Because even if your God cannot communicate and people see what your God says and misrepresent Islam, misunderstand Islam and do terrorism, still Islam is to blame. It's not our fault that your God cannot speak. Still Islam is to blame in this case. But even that is not true. Islam directly commands the behavior we see in Muslim, in Islamists and terrorists.
Yes.
So the people who killed the Coptic Christians, the people who killed for ISIS, were they not part of that 1.9 billion? Were they just not part of that?
They were not following the teachings of Islam, and I will get to exactly why. They were not following the teachings of Islam, and I will get to why. Yes. The motion is about Islam, not about people who claim to believe in Islam and then misrepresent and denigrate our religion.
Dude, I'm calling this young lady dude. Okay, so how you explain, okay, you don't know anything about Islam, okay, because you are a young lady, but how you haven't watched 1,000 hours about this subject, or like me, because not even 1,000 hours you haven't been with your, anyway, so what I was saying, I shouldn't make these comments because I lose my train of thought. So even if you don't know about Islam, just use simple logic. How is it even possible different cultures around the world all misunderstand Islam in the same way? In Nigeria, they misunderstand Islam in the same way. In Syria, they misunderstand Islam in the same way. People in Britain, in UK, misunderstand Islam in the same way. People in Australia, now recently we had some guy was anyway misunderstand Islam in the same way. In I don't know where else, in the US, in all the world just happen to misunderstand Islam in the same way. So let me understand what is happening. So a person in Australia reads true Islam and says, you should love everybody. That means I should kill everybody. And goes and stab a person. A person in Africa reads again Islam. You should be honest and be good to your father. I must understand this to say vehicular terrorism. And he goes with a car and people. Okay, a person in I don't know where, in Syria, again reads the peaceful Islam and misunderstand it the same way. How is it possible?
The motion is that the body of teaching itself is the cause of those atrocities in a way that Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, and even secular ideologies are not the causes of their own. That our faith is inherently incompatible with and in fact are a danger to British society, its values, traditions,
Certainly.
and its
culture.
100%. Therefore warrants a presumption of suspicion, and I'm going to...
100%. What are you talking about? Even if you can make the argument that Muslims are not an existential threat to UK, because they can integrate, although we don't have evidence about that, and we see the opposite evidence, although that is not completely clear. But to claim that Islam will not change British society to the worse is utterly absurd. Okay, you need to be out of your mind to claim that.
Point by point, take your arguments at their highest and tell you why they are wrong. First, given that there were arguments presented by Laurence, I'm not too sure where he's gone, Laurence and Tommy, there you are, Laurence and Tommy about presumed and supposed scriptures and points in the Quran and verses, I want to take you through what they actually say, what the teachings actually say, what Islam actually says, not the caricature you've been painting.
Okay.
And then, I'd like to ask you whether you are suspicious of those values and those cultures.
Okay.
The claim that the Quran is a manual of violence and that mainstream Islam is therefore inherently at war with and in contradiction with Western values is what I've heard tonight. You will have heard, for example, both from JL and Tommy Robinson, that the proposition calls the sword verse, kill the unbelievers wherever you find them. What you will not have heard is the verse immediately before it, which exempts anyone who has kept a peace treaty with the Muslims. You would not have heard the verse immediately after it, which orders Muslims to grant safe passage to any non-Muslim who asks for it and to escort them to safety. You will not have heard that every major classical commentator on the Quran across 1400 years and every Muslim that actually follows the scripture agrees that the verse was about a very specific group of Arab tribes who had signed a peace agreement with the early Muslim community and then broke it in the middle of war in 17th century Arabia. It is dishonest. It is dishonest.
Okay, let's see about that. Okay, so what is the verse? Kill them wherever you find them. Okay. Okay. In order not to waste time, guys, I will go to ChatGPT and you will witness what I'm doing, okay? Okay, let's go to Grok. Listen to my words now. Okay. Okay, I have this. Okay. Is offensive jihad to spread Islam an obligation to Muslims according to the four main schools of thought of Islamic jurisprudence. Yeah, I apologize for my prudence and jurance. I don't know, jurance. Okay, so Κι εγώ περίμενα. As we are waiting, I will sing. Κι εγώ περίμενα. Yes, according to classical Islamic jurisprudence, let's see whether the Grok can say what I want to say. Have text to speech. I don't know. It has text to speech. No, I don't think so. Yeah. Maybe I can speak to Grok.
To stand here, no, let me finish. It is dishonest to stand here and selectively quote and misrepresent and misquote. Let me get to the end of my point and I'll get to you. Let me get to the end of my quote and then I'll get to you. let me get to the end of my point and I'll get to you.
Point of information has been declined, Mr. Jones Lyons.
It is not and has never been read by the scholarly tradition as a standing order for all Muslims in all centuries against everyone who does not share their faith. It has never been the case. And anyone who says that they follow Islam and have committed those crimes in that name, in that verse, is a liar and not a follower of our religion.
What are you fucking talking about? In Islam, there is convert, pay the jizya, or die. This is the three options. And offensive jihad is an obligation. So, in other words, you go to another country and you tell them, convert, pay the jizya, or being the dhimmi status, the protective people, or die. And even Muhammad did this. Muhammad sent a letter to the Romans. What was his name? Of the king, the Heraclitus. So Muhammad sent a letter to Heraclitus and said, and made this threat. He said, essentially, I cannot remember the quote exactly, but he said, convert or pay the consequences. This is what he said. Even Muhammad did that. And let me continue. Let's say they they misunderstand Islam and they do this thing. Because even you admit that there are certain groups of people that are doing that. Namely the Islamists. Still, that is the fault of Islam. Just because your God cannot speak, it's not our fault. They are still doing it in the name of Islam, even if that Islam is not the true Islam.
After
he beheaded the victim, we had the woman verses, one of them was that verse, that justified when he murdered. So again, don't need to argue with us. You need to argue with
I get your point. I have just given you the exact quotation from the religious scripture upon which that person claimed to have followed. I have shown you that that is not what the verse says. Let me finish, Jael. I've shown you that that is not what the verse said. I have shown you that that is not what the teachings ascribe to us and tell us to follow. Let me finish.
Okay, so fucking idiot. Okay, no, we will not let you finish because you're a fucking moron. Okay, so you gave one verse. Now let me give you now all the verses about fighting in Islam. Verses about fighting in Islam. List. You gave one verse and something happened. Surah, fight in the way of Allah those who fight you but not transgress. Indeed, Allah does not love the transgressors. Okay, that is not the one. And kill them wherever you overtake them and expel them from wherever they have expelled you. And fitna is worse than killing. And do not fight them at haram until they fight you there. But if they fight you, then kill them. Such is the recompense of the disbelievers. Okay, that is not there either. And if they cease, then indeed Allah is forgiving and merciful. Fight them until there is no more fitna. What that means? What is fitna in Islam? Fight them until there is nothing other than Islam. This is what fitna is in Islam. And all worship is for Allah. So fight them until all worship is for Allah. But if they cease, then there is to be no aggression except against the oppressors. So if they submit, then there should be no aggression. Fighting has another verse. Fighting has been enjoyed upon you while it is hateful to you, but perhaps you hate a thing and it's good for you. So, first of all, why Allah is a tribal leader? This I never understood it. How dumb and completely irrational someone might be to think that God of 2 trillion galaxies is my tribal leader and fight everybody and only my tribe is to be bullshit. Fighting has been enjoyed upon you while it is hateful. So even if you hate it, you should fight. Another verse discusses fighting in the secret month and state that is fitna and killing. And fight in the cause of Allah and know that Allah is here and known. So what is the cause of Allah? The verse 244 says, fight in the cause of Allah. What is the cause of Allah? That all religion is for Allah. If you Google what is the cause of Allah, is all earth submits to Islam and all religion is for Allah. One time I saw the definition somewhere, someone analyzes the definition. I cannot remember exactly, but this is the point. The cause of Allah is the cause for all the world be under the religion is all for Allah. All the world be under Islam. And then there are other verses. So let those who fight in the cause of Allah, who sell their life in this world. So again, those who fight in the cause of Allah. What is the cause of Allah? What I described. And he who fights in the cause of Allah and is skilled to achieve victory, he will bestow upon him a great reward. The concept of martyrdom. This verse is responsible for terrorism. Clear cut. 475. And what is the matter with you that you don't fight in the cause of Allah? So look, guys, what this lady did. She took 3 verses that gave the impression that it was some kind of just war, and ignored all these verses that I'm just giving you. 474, 475, 476, 489, 495, 812, 815 to 16, 839, 860, 865, 95, 9, 12, 13, 929, 936. First of all, why your God always talks about fighting? What's the matter with him? What is the matter with him? 939 to 39, 973, 9123, 2239 to 40, 47 4, 61 4. Okay, so why all these verses are just war? Seriously? What if we go to the Hadith now? Okay, so now continue. Even that claim you just made was bullshit, in other words.
If somebody wants to pick out any verse from the Bible, from the Old Testament, from the Torah, any selected verse, a verse where Moses is discussed killing innocent civilians, or Solomon taking up...
The Bible is descriptive, not prescriptive. Okay, you cannot take a genuine good, you cannot make a true exegesis of a Christian verse and understand that you are commanded to fight and kill people. You cannot do that. Okay, so in other words, let me explain what is the problem with your logic. What you did was a wrong exegesis of Islam. So, in other words, you took verses out of context, you cherry-pick verses, and you made a point misrepresenting Islam and being in contrast with all the schools of thought in Islam. Okay, so unlike you who made a bad exegesis of the verses you read and you misrepresented Islam, then if you read the verses in the Bible and you understand that you should attack and kill people, then you are misrepresenting the Bible. So that is the difference. Okay.
Tens of dozens of wives. And then I tell you that must justify anyone who then claims that text is referenced to or is presented to.
Bullshit. Okay, so that is as much as it goes, guys. There is no point. This girl is a joke. So Arwa Elrayess, you are just an ignorant 20-year-old. An ignorant 20-year-old. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay, so now, guys, let's do something more interesting. οι Ροδίτες. I will sing you a song. Thank you. I have a channel with where I use AI, artificial intelligence, and I sing songs. Okay. My songs. For Christianity.
Έλα μαζί
μου, come with me.
Ένα ταξίδι
A trip
που θα σε βγάλει από το
that
καημό.
takes you out of sadness.
Είμαι
κι εγώ, I am with you,
σαν και σένα,
like you.
μια ελπίδα να ζητώ. Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις, δεν θα είσαι πια μόνος σου. Θα τελειώσει ο πόνος σου. Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις, δεν θα είναι πια δύσκολα. Η νύχτα θα σπάσει ξανά. Θα συγχωρέσεις, η αγάπη θα λάμψει, η δυστυχία θα πάψει. Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις.
Your prayer,
η προσευχή σου, αν πιστείς αλήθεια,
if you really believe.
Η εκκλησία
The church
θα σε γιατρέψει,
will heal you.
Και θα σ' ανοίξει τα φτερά.
Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις, δεν θα είσαι πια μόνος σου. Θα τελειώσει ο πόνος σου.
Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις, δεν θα είναι πια δύσκολα. Η σπίθα θα ανάψει ξανά. Θα συγχωρέσεις, η αγάπη θα λάμψει, το σκοτάδι θα σπάσει. Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις. Ο Χριστός είναι κοντά, θα σε δώσει να δεν θα είσαι πια μόνος σου. Θα τελειώσει ο πόνος σου. Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις, δεν θα είναι πια δύσκολα. Η νύχτα θα σπάσει ξανά. Θα συγχωρέσεις, η αγάπη θα λάμψει, η δυστυχία θα πάψει. Δεν θα ξαναπονέσεις.